Ooh, Allamanda. Growing Allamanda in Florida can be a delightful addition to your garden. The most commonly grown species in Florida is the Allamanda cathartica. They're great for gardens in warm climates, and Florida has that covered. Allamanda plants are typically woody vines or shrubs, and the flowers come in a variety of colors and sizes, including shades of yellow, orange, pink, and even purple, which is the one I'd like to find. And some varieties of Allamanda have multicolored flowers. We need to find those too. Allamanda can be a stunning plant that your neighbors will surely envy. The expert name for the family for which Allamanda hails from is this name. Yep, I pronounce it the same way you do. The Allamanda is native to South America. These evergreen shrubs, or vines, are known for their large trumpet-shaped flowers and glossy green foliage. They make a great focal point in colorful gardens. And when they're not flowering, it just looks like an exotic green plant, so we win either way. Allamanda is a beautiful and versatile plant that can add a real pop of color to your garden, and even your indoor spaces. Just give them a sunny window and wait for the flower show. They do very well in pots and containers, so just make sure you consider their growth and spreading behavior. I mean, too much Allamanda is unheard of, so we'll just have to wait and see what too much looks like in our gardens. Growing Allamanda is like adding little pieces of sunshine to your garden. The bright yellow clusters of flowers command attention, and they'll give you a warm, fuzzy feeling, just like sunshine. It's also popular as a potted plant or a hanging basket. Be careful with the hanging baskets because they can get kind of big, but they do look really pretty. Allamanda attracts a lot of pollinators, such as bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. If you want to attract hummingbirds, you'll want to plant some Allamanda in a location that's a bit remote from high traffic areas. Hummingbirds like privacy, so if they feel they can drink some nectar while being undisturbed, they'll choose your Allamanda. So, how do we grow an Allamanda? Allamanda thrives in warm tropical climates, so places like Florida. They prefer full sun to partial shade. Our Florida sun and Florida heat can affect your Allamanda. Again, our Florida full sun is much different than the California full sun. In California, your full sun will come with a scorching 74-degree weather and a brutal wind traveling at 4 miles per hour. I feel so terrible for them. Our Florida sun gives us everything it has, and we don't always want it. Our plants feel the same way. You'll want to ensure your Allamanda can get some shade during our summer months, as a combination of Florida sun and Florida heat will cause them to wilt. A little afternoon shower always works. Not a deep watering or regular watering, just a little something to mimic those afternoon showers that seem to be on vacation right now. April showers are supposed to bring May flowers, but not for us Floridian gardeners. Our April showers don't show up until June, so we have to combat the heat until our rainy season begins. So make sure you give yourself some order too. The Allamanda prefers temperatures between 60 and 80 degrees, but they can tolerate our Florida heat if they get an afternoon shower, or have some shade after about 4 hours of direct sunlight. It is sensitive to cold temperatures, but that's not a huge problem for us here in Florida. We can address freezing temperatures with a gardening cloth or light sheet during those handful of nights we get that are in the 40s. For you snowbirds, you'll want to bring them indoors. I know, it's a task. But what happens when you bring your plants back out for the spring, huh? Exactly. Your neighbors are jealous, and that's always worth the extra effort. They make excellent plants for large containers, and having one in a pot allows you the versatility to relocate the plant if the environment isn't being nice to her. If you're planting them in the ground, you'll need a hole twice as wide and as deep as the root ball. Place the plant in the hole and then backfill with soil. Water thoroughly. Allamanda should be spaced at least 3 to 4 feet apart to allow for proper growth. They like soils rich in organic matter. You can try amending the soil with organic matter to improve drainage and fertility, if you have that kind of stuff around. If not, just mix some perlite into the soil, and that'll help you increase aeration and drainage. So there's always a solution. Your Allamanda prefers slightly acidic to neutral soil pH, so somewhere between 6 and 7. keep the soil consistently moist, especially during the first growing season. Once established, the Allamanda is somewhat drought tolerant, but it does prefer to stay on a regular watering cycle during those summer months, so you definitely want to be at twice a week during the hot summer here in Florida. Allow the top 2 to 3 inches of the soil to dry out slightly between those waterings, and you'll know when you've overwatered the plant, as it will produce some yellowing in its leaves. So you'll want to skip the next watering cycle and allow the soil some time to dry out a little bit. You can water deeply to encourage root growth, but only take the deep watering once a week. We want to keep the soil consistently moist, but not what? Waterlogged, correct. We want to avoid waterlogging our soil. I'm going to tell you not to waterlog your soil until the day we're no longer friends, and you've signed up to be friends forever, so hi friend. Allamanda can be grown or propagated from seeds, stem cuttings, or by air layering. Stem cuttings taken from mature plants can be rooted simply in soil or water. It's just that easy. Air layering involves making a cut in one of the stems that's still attached to the plant, and then wrapping a growing medium around the cut to encourage it to grow roots at that specific point. It's a fairly easy process and ensures your cutting has roots before you remove it from the mother plant. But here's the question: is it a cutting or a plant? Seeds should be planted in well-draining soil and kept in a warm location until germination occurs. Planting them at the end of your cold season or early spring would be ideal times. Now, these little spiky balls are the seed pods. Once they turn brown and begin to fall away from the plant, you can collect them and store them in a cool, dry space. I grow it in a pot and put it out on display for the neighbors who don't know how to grow plants. Like, yeah, I got so much Allamanda and you kinda don't. Sorry. Do be careful if you have your Allamanda in the ground though, as these seed pods can become very hard and could injure you if you step on one. Not sure why you're outdoors without shoes on, but as a Florida boy, I like it. The spikes are there to protect the seeds from animals like squirrels. They love digging up Allamanda seeds, despite having their own cache of acorns buried around the yard. They prefer to take our plant seeds instead. You could put a bowl of cheap nuts out in the yard and they'll go after those instead. That could get annoying, but it saves our seeds from being devoured and we get more plants. And we always want more plants. That's just who we are. The Allamanda is a heavy feeder and it does benefit from regular fertilization. You want to use a balanced fertilizer formulated for flowering plants, but I've also seen great results using fertilizers formulated for increasing blooms. But a balanced fertilizer, like an all-purpose fertilizer, is sufficient. You do want to avoid excessive fertilization, as this will lead to lush foliage at the expense of flowering. I'm sure we're all here for the flowers, aren't we? So fertilize every 2 to 3 months. Allamanda is sensitive to cold temperatures and may suffer damage if exposed to frequent frost conditions. If frost is in your forecast, cover the plants with a frost cloth or large sheet to protect them from frigid winds. You want to bring your potted Allamandas indoors to protect them from cold damage. This would be a good time to disclose your expectations for this upcoming spring. Pruning should be done after flowering to remove dead or diseased branches and to shape the plant as desired. Regular pruning encourages bushier growth and more abundant flowering, so do be sure to wear gloves when you're pruning, as Allamanda sap can cause a bit of irritation. Well, you know, a little bit of irritation for all of that beauty? I'll take it. The Allamanda is relatively pest and disease resistant. It could encounter issues with aphids or maybe fungal disease like the white powdery mildew, but Allamanda is a very hardy plant, so these issues likely occur due to a nearby plant having the same issues, so you want to check around your garden. If you do run into these issues with your Allamanda, try using an insecticidal soap or neem oil for any pests, and then fungicides for any fungal infections. Also, reduce the amount of water you're giving your Allamanda to mitigate fungal buildups. Well, Allamandas are pretty resilient. Allamandas are pretty resilient. They're pretty like Amandas too. Hello, Amanda. With a little care, attention, and deep eye gazing, Allamanda can thrive in your Florida garden year-round, providing vibrant color and tropical beauty. It's as if you were standing out on your lawn all year round for us to observe. Didn't I say you were special? Keep your Allamanda healthy and say nice things to her, and she'll shower you with beautiful clusters of flowers day after day. And your neighbor's envy only makes her produce more flowers. It's kind of a team effort, really. Sign me up for the long run. Enjoy your Allamandas, and thanks for stopping by. Until next time, Dewa Mata Itsuka.